Flames rose higher than the palace walls. Sacred bronze statues melted into mud. The Oba's throne sat in silence, surrounded by gunpowder and ghosts. In 1897, the skies over Benin City weren't blue. They were red. The British Empire had sent 1,200 soldiers, armed with rifles, cannons, and orders. Burn the city. Take everything. Break the kingdom. Benin wasn't a tribe. It was an empire. With science, law, architecture, art, long before Europe knew what civilization meant. But in a single week, it was pillaged, burned, and erased from textbooks. Benin City, in present-day Nigeria, was once called the City of Blood and Bronze. Surrounded by walls longer than the Great Wall of China, the people lived in spiritual harmony, protected by the sacred Oba, both king and divine guardian. Inside the royal palace, bronze statues told the stories of kings past. Leopards were symbols of power, and women ruled alongside men. But to the British, this was primitive, and primitive things were easier to steal. It started with a lie. British officials tried to enter the city during a sacred festival. They were told, "Wait, this is not the time," but they refused. A scuffle broke out. Several British officers died. The British called it a massacre. They called it savage. And so, they returned with vengeance. 1,200 soldiers, 38 machine guns, dozens of cannons, against priests, farmers, palace guards. The Oba was captured. The city was looted. Thousands of bronze plaques, ivory carvings, royal masks, and sacred artifacts ripped from shrines, wrapped in burlap, and shipped to London, Berlin, Paris. Today, they still sit in museums, tagged as art. But to Benin, they were family. The British didn't just take gold. They took memory. They took gods. They took names and pride and history. And they left behind silence. For over 100 years, the world told us Benin was tribal. Africa had no history. We brought civilization. But the truth has always lived in the bronze. And the bronze never stopped speaking. In 2021, the first stolen bronzes were returned, but only a few. Thousands still remain behind glass in Europe. The descendants of Benin still wait. They still remember, and they still ask, how do you repay a kingdom burned to the ground? How do you return a soul stolen in crates? They thought they buried our past, but we are the roots, and we are rising.